When I'm busy doing totally legitimate things, I rely on OneFootball to give me all the news stories, fixtures, results, and more from the world of football. Download it for free today. Alright guys, this next one is a bit more subtle, but it's one that I love to mention because it involves a lot of what we've already gone over, but something to keep in mind, and it's use momentum to your advantage. Not just your own momentum, but the momentum of opponents. So what I mean by that is that, for example, I'm assuming all of you know what momentum is, but if I'm running in this direction, my momentum's going in this direction. So for me to stop and go this way, it takes time. I have to get low to do it. So when you think about a defender, if you're running in that direction, and you can see Messi use other players' momentum all the time against them. He'll use little feints to get them to step, getting their momentum to go this way so we can go out the other way. Sometimes you only need a defender's body position to be a certain way, or for them just to lean slightly in one direction for you to be able to go out the other way. For example, a simple move to do that is you do a little feint here, they step with you, and you push off your foot, and because their momentum's going in the other way, and you push off your foot, making your momentum go that way, you're gonna beat them. Another thing to recognize, and I'm gonna relate this to goal scoring, is think about your momentum when you're shooting, when you're going to score a goal, when you're finishing. For example, if I'm running into the box and I'm even like right here, which, this would be a really tricky volley, but I'm going in full speed, I probably want to hit this first time because my momentum's not going to really allow me to stop, control it, and then go in the box. But however, if I make good connection, because all my momentum's going forward, if I strike it well, I could possibly score. Same for headers. If it comes in and I can run onto the ball and head it, I'm going to be able to generate a lot more power. In fact, the power's already on the ball because of its momentum. Opposed to if I have to kind of come back here and then generate it like there, or I have to kind of change up my momentum. But if I run directly onto it, understand you're going to get more power. So just understand how you can use momentum to your advantage, not only for yourself. Another one is if you're just running past a person and they're planted, but your momentum's going forward, if you can knock it past them and they're like this, they have to now go like this and turn where you're already running at full speed. So just some things to think about. It's very nuanced, it's a little more intricate, pretty simple actually, but just think about momentum when you're taking on players. All right guys, next hack is a huge one and one I try and tell players all the time, especially attacking players. And it's play to your strengths. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't work on your weaknesses. Ideally, you work on your weaknesses long enough for them to become a strength. But in matches, your weaknesses are going to be a certain thing and your strengths are going to be a certain thing. And so you need to think about putting yourself in positions that will amplify your strengths. For example, if you are an amazing crosser of the ball, but you're not getting out wide and getting the space you need, let's say you're a winger, and getting the space you need to put in crosses, then you can't demonstrate and use your strength to help your team. If you're finishing is your greatest strength and you're just a goal scoring machine, if your movement sucks and you're not making the runs and you're getting no opportunities, well then it doesn't matter how good your finishing is because you're not demonstrating your strengths, right? So this could apply to anything. You might be amazing at taking people one-on-one. Well then you need to make sure in games you're finding those pockets of space to then face someone up. If you're a winger, you need to make sure you're getting isolated with someone so you can run at them. Again, if you're someone who has an amazing shot, great finish, you need to be getting in goal scoring opportunities or else you're not going to be able to show your strengths. And I think this is why a lot of players go missing in matches even though they're very good. And I recognize this in myself when I was younger. Players I'd play with who'd be amazing in training and wouldn't necessarily do much in matches is they weren't always playing to their strengths. Avoid your weaknesses unless it's like a fundamental that you can't avoid in matches. Work on them in training. But if you are amazing at taking players one-on-one, you need to be getting out wide, getting the ball, and then running at that guy, beating him, and crossing it in. Because that is your biggest weapon right now. That is how you're going to help your team the most, by being able to play to those strengths. Not to say the other things aren't important, but if you can highlight your strengths as much as possible in matches, you're going to be more effective for your team, okay? So keep that idea in mind and find ways to put yourself in positions where you can play to your strengths. All right, guys, this next hack is another fairly subtle one, but it's an important one. And all of you know that having a first touch is incredibly important. Being able to control the ball in as few touches as possible to then do what you want to do. But it's not just about having the ability, because what I see in a lot of my clients and players is not taking the smartest first touch for the situation. It's not only being able to control the ball, it's what is the best thing I can do with the ball on my first touch in this situation. For example, a very common one I see is a winger on the end line with their body position like this instead of like this. And I'm talking about their space right there for them to receive it. So what's the problem with this? If the ball comes in here, I have to take a touch and then turn with the ball. It takes me longer to do it. My back is towards the play, so I can't see what's going on. Where if I'm like this, I can now see everything. Out of bounds is behind me, I don't have to worry about that. And I can open up my body. So the ball comes to me here, I touch it with the inside and take it forward. It saves me time. It also helps my awareness because I know what's going on. Now, if a guy's right on me, I then need to maybe have my position here, but I should still be able to turn open and then take my first touch to shield it. So one thing with first touch as well is the fewest touches are usually better. If you can take 2 touches or even 1 touch to accelerate the play, in most instances, you want to do that. The other thing, like I said, is knowing where your body position needs to be. If I'm like this on the wing and I get the ball here, I mean, God forbid it comes to my left, then I have to touch it here and I have to come around. You know, I don't know what's behind me if I haven't checked. You know, one simple shift like this, and now I'm open to the field, I know what's there, and I can take my first touch into the space, right? So that's a simple one. Other ones, you can get a little more advanced, might include, you know, there's space I can touch into there. So I'm aware of that. You know, I'm gonna get to the ball first, I can touch it into that space. My momentum's now going forward. Whereas if I take a touch into my feet, maybe that space closes up and the opportunity's not there and I have to pass it back, right? So it's just being aware. What is the best way for me to take my first touch? Not just having good first touch ability, but again, that situation on the line is the one I see all the time where the body position is just negative, facing this way. There's no man on the back. It's just like that, where you just open up your body, you take it with the inside into that space, and it just, I mean, it may not seem like much. It may seem like, oh, well, you only lose a second if you're turned like this. Oh, well, maybe you're not aware, but then you'll be aware after you take the touch. Those little things matter, and the better you can become at mastering these little things, just your body position here. It's just that's it, that's just the difference. But that's gonna improve your game so much. All right, guys, next hack is to take calculated risks. Now, we already kind of talked about this a little bit with being unpredictable, but I wanna make sure you're not getting in the habit of always taking a risk. You know, when I say take risks, I'm not saying take a risk every time. Sometimes you're gonna get the ball and you're gonna need to pass it off right away. Sometimes you're gonna get the ball, touch it into the midfield. Sometimes you'll get it, have to shield it, hold it off, not go forward and play it back. So sometimes you need to play safe. You just have to. I'm not saying take a risk every time. I'm not saying the guy's on your back and you have to spin him and there's 3 guys here and you're coming in and you're beating all of them. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is take calculated risks. Learn to recognize when you can take the risk and when it's in your advantage to do so. An example, isolated defender, you're a winger. You can take him one-on-one, beat him, whip him across, or possibly get a shot off. That's a calculated risk because there is a risk of you losing the ball. However, it's a high risk, not high risk, low risk, high reward type situation. Because if you do beat him and you do get in a good cross, potentially a goal. He steals it from you, most likely he knocks it out of bounds, maybe clears it upfield, and there's an off chance they counter, but it's not likely in most situations. Example of a high risk situation is you're in the center of the park and you got 2 guys around you and you try and dribble, they win it and they counter, right? So it's understanding when to take risks, when not to take risks. So don't think when I say take risks, that means every time you're coming in here, you're taking shots from 50 yards, you're trying to weave through the whole team. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take calculated risks, and the more you play, the more you will recognize the best situations to take that risk in, where you might potentially lose the ball, but you might potentially score. Where you're gonna take that shot, which means you'll potentially miss, but again, you'll potentially score. So just recognize that it needs to be calculated, but you need to be taking some kind of risk in game. Just make sure it's smart risks, you're not doing dumb things and losing the ball. All right, this next one, I think mainly is for goal scorers, mainly for attackers, but this can be applied to all attacking positions, and it's anticipate. And sometimes I'll see this where, for example, cross comes in, and you make a run and it looks like the ball's not gonna come through to you. So you kind of give up on it, you kind of watch it, you stop your run, and then for some reason it misses everybody and comes into the space you would have been in if you kept making your run. You need to anticipate that something's gonna happen, the ball's gonna get through to you. Now, if it doesn't, recycle, make another run, and get into the position you need to be in. But you need to anticipate mistakes, anticipate a bounce, anticipate that there's even an off chance that the ball is going to come to you, anticipate that it will. So if I keep making this run and I see that the ball, it's a bad cross and I just give up and I stop here, yet it deflects off a defender and then rolls out here. Well, if I just kept making my run, bam, I got an easy chance to score. Another huge one, especially if you're a goal scorer, every single time, and I mean every single time one of your midfielders or other players shoots it on target, your first instinct should be this: running it on goal. You're being opportunistic here. You're expecting a rebound, it coming off the post, the keeper spilling it. Even at the professional level, this will happen sometimes. Player shoots it, and the striker's like this. He's not following it in. He's not anticipating the rebound. The rebound comes, keeper's able to collect it or it's cleared away. Every time it's around here and someone shoots it, I want you to immediately keep yourself on side, but as soon as they're about to strike it, start making your run before anyone else, so that if it does spill, you're right there and you have a tap in. Every goal counts, guys. You know, go for those. So, ball's here, you're attacking center mid if you have one, takes it, controls it, is about to swing. As soon as he's about to make contact on the ball, that's your cue to make your dash, just in case. So anticipate things happening, guys, because you'll be surprised how many times something like that will happen. And you score one goal, that could be the difference between, winning and not winning the game. All right, guys, final hack. It's another huge one, especially for you guys. Actually, for all you attackers, this is huge. For all players, this is huge. And it's follow your instincts. And this is something I usually tell only goal scorers because it's very obvious when it comes to goal scoring that you need to follow your instincts. You don't have time to calculate every little thing when you have a goal scoring chance. No, you need to be well trained enough to know exactly what to do, to shoot it when you need to shoot it, to create the space, to make that run. And so you need to follow your instincts. Now, how do you develop your instincts is in training. If you go to the pitch and you do a finishing drill over and over again and you can put it into the corner basically without even thinking, that's how you train your instincts. And when you can get to the point when you can finish like 10 times out of 10, your instincts are already there. So long as you're keeping it game-like and you're not doing it super slow, right? But then a lot of players will then not listen to that intuitive idea that comes in, that instinct that tells them to shoot, that tells them to do a certain move, that tells them to make a certain run. And all I can say is, in my experience, my instincts have almost never been wrong. And I've scored some amazing goals and some goals that I probably wouldn't have scored otherwise if I had not listened to those instincts. So get in the habit of following your instincts. This can happen for wingers too, with certain moves, maybe certain crosses. Maybe your instincts tell you to cross it more towards the top of the 18 instead of whipping it in there. I don't know what it is. It's going to be different for everyone, but follow your instincts. And again, the way you train your instincts is simply getting on the pitch and practicing over and over again. So you have to mix your technique, you have to develop technique, and then mix it with your instincts. But don't quiet them, don't overthink, follow your instincts. And ideally, the whole match, you're just on this like instinct mode. And if you can do that, you're going to perform better in matches. All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you like this kind of video, let me know. I'll try and make some more of this. Question of the day is, out of all of these hacks I've given you, out of all of these ideas, which one do you need to add to your game, implement, practice the most? Let me know down below in the comments and I'll answer as many as I can. Thank you guys so much again for watching the video. Make sure you hit the 2 videos I put up on screen to continue to learn, to improve, and stand out on the pitch. Check out my free ebook if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.